In recent days, many comments have been shared on social media about whether Jungkook has recently traveled alone or with one of his bandmates, such as Jimin or Taehyung. The only thing that is truly confirmed is that Jungkook was seen at the airport with his personal manager. However, what is still unknown is the destination of that trip. Some people believe it could be related to future projects, rehearsals, or work commitments that have not yet been officially announced. As is common, many speculations have also arisen without clear evidence. For example, certain social media accounts have begun to claim that Jimin was also seen at the airport and could even have traveled with Jungkook. But so far, no agency or reliable media has confirmed that Jimin has left the country or met with Jungkook in that context. There are no images, records, or statements to support these claims. This has generated confusion among some fans, as certain members of the Jimin group tend to share unverified information that could distort the true context of the events. It's important to keep in mind that these unofficial posts are often based on personal interpretations, without concrete evidence. Some Jikookers tend to link any movement or appearance of Jungkook with Jimin, even though there is no evidence to support such connections. These types of rumors tend to recur every time one of them performs a public activity, which has been evident on multiple occasions. On the contrary, if we look at the latest confirmed events, there is one point worth highlighting: the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has been much more visible in recent months. At J-Hope's concert, the two were seen interacting with closeness, respect, and mutual affection. These scenes did not go unnoticed by many, as they demonstrated a strong relationship despite the time they have spent apart due to mandatory military service in South Korea. The displays of connection between Taehyung and Jungkook, both in public moments and in spontaneous interactions, reflect a connection that has endured over time. Although they don't often discuss their private lives, their closeness is evident whenever they share space, even when they're not in the spotlight. They've both been part of the same group for a long time, which naturally strengthens any relationship. But in their case, beyond friendship, many observers have noticed details that could reflect a deeper, more personal relationship. While they haven't made official statements about the exact nature of their bond, they have made it clear that there is mutual respect and a strong sense of trust. Therefore, when unclear rumors arise, such as those attempting to link Jungkook with Jimin in unconfirmed situations, it's important to know how to differentiate what is based on real facts from what is simply part of the personal interpretations or desires of some fans. Every BTS member has the right to their privacy and to keep aspects of their lives away from the public eye, and it's the fans' duty to respect those spaces. The only thing confirmed so far is that Jungkook was seen at the airport with his manager, and his destination and reasons for the trip have not been officially announced. There's no verified evidence that Jimin was with him, and any such claims lack reliable backing. Instead, Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship remains one of the most consistent and notable in the group, their closeness evident even during their time fulfilling their military responsibilities. Why did Taehyung avoid Bang PD's camera during his concert? J-Hope's concert was a very special moment for BTS fans. All of the group's members were in attendance, which doesn't happen often. Seeing the 7 members together again made many people emotional. Besides them, HYB's close friends, current and former employees of Bigot, and important people like Bang Si-hyuk, the creator of BTS, were also present. Bang PD also took advantage of the concert to record some moments with his cell phone. At one point, he tried to make a video where Taehyung appeared. But just as he was about to focus his camera on him, Taehyung turned his head away, avoiding being in the video. This small gesture attracted a lot of attention and soon became a topic of conversation among fans. Some people started saying that Taehyung did it on purpose, as if he didn't want to be recorded by Bang PD. Others thought it was just a coincidence, that perhaps he was looking at something on stage or simply moved without thinking about the camera. However, several noticed that his expression seemed a little uncomfortable, as if he wasn't feeling well at the moment. This led to comments about the relationship between Taehyung and Bang PD. While many know that Bang PD has been an important figure for BTS, there are also rumors that past decisions have negatively affected the group, and that not all members have been treated well. In particular, some fans think that the relationship between Taehyung and Bang PD isn't as close as it is with other members. Over time, some have noticed that Taehyung has avoided being too close to him at public events. This isn't always the case, but there have been times when he seemed to keep his distance. This has led many people to believe that Taehyung isn't comfortable around him, and that's why he avoids direct interactions. After the concert, some haters began criticizing Taehyung, saying he was disrespectful or insulted Bang PD by avoiding being in the video. But that's not true. At no point was Taehyung seen saying anything offensive or acting rude. He just turned his face away, and that doesn't mean he had any bad intentions. Many fans came to his defense, explaining that everyone has the right to protect their personal space. If someone doesn't feel good about a situation, it's okay to act on it. Pretending to be happy or acting like nothing's wrong isn't something you see Taehyung do. He's honest with his emotions, and that's something that makes him very special. That's why, when talking about Taehyung's face-turning gesture, it's important to look at the whole context. It wasn't meant as an offense or a sign of disrespect. Fans who understand his story know that it's not always easy to be yourself in front of so many people. But Taehyung does it. He doesn't act to please everyone, but rather behaves according to how he feels. And having someone like Jungkook by his side, who understands and silently supports him, is something that strengthens him. In the end, the concert was not only a celebration for J-Hope, but also an opportunity to see, once again, that the bonds between the members of BTS remain very strong. And among all those bonds, the one that unites Taehyung and Jungkook is one of the deepest and most true. The way Jungkook stayed close to Taehyung during the concert. Although they didn't show it in an exaggerated way, those who watched closely noticed that Jungkook was attentive to him the entire time. That closeness, that subtle care, reflects the strong bond that exists between them. Taehyung and Jungkook have shared many years together. They've known each other since they were teenagers and grew up side by side within the group. What began as a very close friendship eventually evolved into a deeper relationship, based on trust, respect, and affection. Although they don't always openly show it in public, fans who follow their story know that there is a unique connection between them. They are soulmates, but they also understand each other in a very special way. During the concert, amidst the excitement and awkward moments, Jungkook didn't walk away. His mere presence was a support for Taehyung, as if saying wordlessly, "I'm here with you." That attitude is nothing new. On many occasions, we've seen how Jungkook cares for Taehyung, how he accompanies him when he feels nervous, and how he is attentive to his gestures. And in the same way, Taehyung has shown on more than one occasion that he completely trusts Jungkook. This way of supporting each other, of being there for each other, has led many fans to believe that there is a special relationship between them, beyond a common friendship. Their way of sharing moments, of looking at each other, and of acting together, has been recognized by those who have followed them for years. Therefore, instead of judging Taehyung, many prefer to admire him for being authentic. And Jungkook for always being there, in the good times and the difficult ones. They teach us that true affection is shown in the details, and that supporting each other is one of the purest forms of love. The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook has long attracted attention. These aren't unfounded rumors, but rather visible, repeated, and constant moments that show a closeness that's hard to ignore. What they have between them doesn't depend on big words or public declarations. On the contrary, it's expressed in small gestures, in the long, silent glances they exchange, and in the way they behave when they're together, regardless of whether cameras are present or not. The most notable thing about their bond is how naturally they behave, as if they've understood each other for years without needing to explain. There's a silent trust that accompanies them every time they look at each other, touch each other, or search each other's gaze. They don't seem to be acting or trying to convince anyone. They simply feel comfortable together, as if their connection is part of their everyday life, something they've built over time. They've shared stages, trips, moments of rest, and even private situations that have been captured on several occasions by those who closely follow their steps. Whether during interviews, concerts, recordings, or even when they're not at work, their behavior follows the same pattern: constant closeness, gestures of affection, shared laughter, and a way of being close to each other that isn't repeated with others. This doesn't mean they're trying to show anything directly. In fact, they've often avoided speaking clearly about their relationship. However, it's their body language that communicates the most. Spontaneous hugs, hands that touch openly, glances that last longer than usual, and smiles that appear only when they're together. These are the details that suggest their relationship goes beyond a simple friendship. Furthermore, we've seen how they care for each other, both in public and in more relaxed moments. If one feels uncomfortable, the other notices and acts on it. If one laughs, the other usually shares it with an equally sincere expression. Even on stage, where there's constant pressure and attention, their complicity remains firm, as if everything happening around them doesn't change what exists between them. Many might say that these behaviors also occur among friends, and it's true. But in the case of Taehyung and Jungkook, there's something different. A way of being together that isn't just based on affection, but on a deeper emotional connection. They approach each other as if they share something that doesn't need validation from others. They don't need to confirm it with words, because they already do it with every action, effortlessly, without exaggeration.